So if you're in the market for a modern, minimal, technical backpack, chances are you're looking at the Aer CPP2, which is a fantastic option. On this video, I'm going to be talking about the Sympl Commuter. This is version 2.2. I reviewed it over a year ago when it was still on the first generation. Given the current state of this bag, all of the refinements that they made to the overall design, I think for anyone looking at the CPP2, which I'm going to be comparing it to, this is what I consider to be the strongest contender, and I think for a lot of people across a variety of use cases are actually going to get more value out of the Commuter than they are the CPP2. This is the 20-liter version that just came out, being compared to the Ballistic Nylon version of this one, also in 20 liters. I'm going to talk about the things that I consider to be wins in the Commuter over the CPP2 and vice versa, and then independently of the CPP2, I'm going to be highlighting the particular things that I love the most about this bag, a few nitpicks that I have that are keeping it from being like absolutely legendary, which it already is. And then I'll share my final thoughts on which one of the two you should go for, despite there being a little bit of a price difference with a Commuter being more expensive. So let's get into it. One really cool thing about Sympl is that they are continuously listening to their customers' feedback and thoughtfully applying that into design refinements. I mean, it's already been a good bit since they rolled out version 2, and since then there's been 2 additional iterations of it where they refreshed little things. When I reviewed version 1, all of the little nitpicks or areas of potential improvement, at least for my preferences, it feels like they've addressed all of those. The water bottle holder, you have an external and an internal one. They've made the straps more comfortable. They've strengthened the magnets. They've made the main compartment space feel more roomy relative to the volume that is supposedly offered before. It felt a little bit too slim, offering much better laptop protection. All these little things that I'll get into in more detail, but given the current state of this bag and where it's at, I'd say the 3 main places where this guy wins over the CPP2, at least based off of my preferences, are the fact that you get a lot more organization, which already this one does well, the versatility in their front stash pocket, and then lastly, the fact that you get a hybrid axis layout, which I'll explain what I mean by that. But yeah, I mean, starting off with organization, I think the really critical thing here is if you don't use a tech pouch, whether you don't see the value in it or you just have like one backpack and you like having all of your things inside your backpack in a dedicated place and you value having a lot of organization, a lot of different pockets for different things, then that's a huge reason to go with a Sympl Commuter. As someone that has now become a tech pouch person, I feel like I still get enough organization in the CPP2, so it's not as strong of a driver for me. But with that being said, when I pack it out, you'll see what I mean. It is a good feeling when you're like traveling, especially if you're taking a lot of different tech with you, in having a proper place for all of those things, even the things that are hard to find a place for, right? Like a bulkier mouse. I think when it comes to organization, one of the key areas where you just get insane organization is what they call a tech caddy. And so this is holistically a built-in tech caddy in one place. I love the fact that it's essentially a quick access pocket, but it has such a variety of different types of pockets, sleeves, pouches, all in one place, so that when you're trying to grab multiple things at once, you don't have to go into different areas of the bag. You have it all there. You have a little magnetic sleeve in the back where you could put sunglasses, phone, wallet, etc. You have 3 stretch mesh sleeves back here. You have a zippered pouch here, and then you have a pen sleeve as well as 2 mesh pockets. When I do the full pack out, you can see it in more detail, but then beyond that, you get the front stash pocket, which I'm going to talk about in more detail. Within here, you get 2 sleeves. In the main compartment, you get, just like the Aer, 2 rear mesh sleeves, but then you get 3 stretch mesh ones up here, which this one works great for a bulkier mouse where it's suspended away from everything else. And then one other place where you get great organization that a lot of people value is you have this like little magnetic canopy admin panel where the laptop compartment is, where you get just good volume, and then 2 bulkier mesh sleeves. So if you like to have your laptop charger all in the laptop compartment, another place where you have that. Second place where I find the Commuter offers you more versatility is in their front stash pocket. it's a combination of the fact that it is vertical, so you have this vertical volume, and the fact that it's a lot more expandable. So Aer, their front stash pocket, when the bag is pretty empty, it's relatively useful. Like I find that this is the best place to throw my tech pouch, right? That's a cap one, and it works great. But once the bag starts packing out more and more, it just becomes harder to get in and out of there. But there's other bulkier things, right? Like over-the-ear headphones. Could you fit AirPod Maxes in here? Yes, but is it really easy to get in and out of? It is not. Whereas with this guy, I could fit my Lumix S5 II mirrorless camera, which is like relatively bulky with a 35mm prime. It's not huge, but that thing like fits like pretty easily in the front. Even when the bag is packed out in the main compartment, I wouldn't even dream of having that here in the front stash pocket. Just to show you, this is AirPod Maxes fit in there really, really well. I could technically, like if I wanted to, not that I would, but throw AirPod Maxes and a cap one, and it fits really nicely. This ties into my last point that I think is a really unique differentiator in this bag. You don't have it in a ton of bags. I think like the Evergood CTV20 is another good example that offers this, but is having a hybrid access layout. And what I mean by that is with the Aer, pretty much all of the pockets, with the exception of now this new side access pocket that they introduced, is all designed around top-down access. So it's more optimal to grab your stuff when the bag is like on the floor or just off of your back. With that being said, whether it's when you're traveling, right, where you might find yourself in newer scenarios where you are gonna value more being able to just swing the bag around you, or for anyone that maybe you're like naturally like me where you still prefer top-down access organization, but maybe you live in a city where it's densely populated, you're doing a lot of public transportation, and being able to swing it around to grab things is also valuable. You get such a solid front stash pocket for side access and like this insane tech caddy top admin panel pocket. Now, a few like smaller wins, honestly, the first one is a huge win for me, but the other two are more subtle. The zipper smoothness in the Sympl Commuter, specifically around the main compartment zipper, is insane. So look at this. I mean, did you see how like, it was like a chef's knife just cutting through a tender piece of filet mignon. Super duper easy. This is tied with Aer CPP2 as the smoothest main compartment zipper. I gave it a 9.5 Pilgrim churned butter zipper smoothness rating. And these are also PU coated zippers, but with the Aer, I mean, yeah, you definitely don't have that fluidity. The rest of the zippers are fine, but yeah, just one of those things that really enables me to like truly enjoy using a bag. The rest of the zippers are also very smooth, as well as on the CityPack Pro 2, but I think that's just like a really nice thing about this guy. And then the other two things worth calling out is now with the 20-liter version of this, you're getting this side stash pocket, which for an EDC bag, I actually really like. I'll link my review of the CityPack Pro 2, the 20-liter version on here. But you get an external water bottle holder. Now, I prefer the external water bottle holder on the Aer for sure than the one on the Sympl Commuter. It's one of my nitpicks, so just wait until that part to talk about it. But on the other side, they introduced just like an internal, you could call it a water bottle holder. They're using this insane stretch mesh. It feels pretty much like the same stretch mesh that Evergoods is using on their water bottle holders. For like the MPL line and the CTB line. This one in particular looks just like the Clued one, which is amazing. And so if you live in a place where you rock an umbrella, perfect place for that. I threw in this like mobile laptop battery bank, and it fits really well, but you have like more vertical volume. So I think if you want to just carry something really small and compact, this is gonna be better. If not, I think that's a really clever use of space for people that don't need two water bottle holders in an everyday carry backpack. And then just the last one, not a huge deal, but just the sternum strap buckle. The Aer one uses the twist magnet, which is fine, but I find that with this one, I don't know, just I don't enjoy, it requires like a little bit of finessing to do and undo, whereas this one just uses the push button one, which I love, is the one that like Able Carry uses, as well as other brands. That's the only one that I can think of. Am I bleeding? Holy shit. This is gonna look bad. BRB. Oh man. Well, that's a little awkward. Yeah, I've been like sleeping in the basement with the door open with my dog, who's like, she's unfortunately not doing great, but living in Utah in the dry climate causes the old nosebleeds. Anyways, let's talk about where the CityPack Pro 2 wins, in my opinion, over the Sympl Commuter. I think it comes down to the comfort factor, just having access to more options, whether it's fabrics or colors. Third is that you get an awesome top quick access pocket in all of their models, whereas in this one you're limited to just a 24 liter or their limited edition XPAC one that is no longer in stock. And then lastly, the fact that the CityPack Pro 2 is cheaper if you're comparing apples to apples, Ballistic Nylon versus Ballistic Nylon. But I'll talk a little bit more about those things. In terms of comfort, I will say I value comfort tremendously. It's a big reason for why I find myself like using Aer backpacks as well as Able Carry a lot. Now, the Sympl Commuter I still find to be one of the most comfortable bags that I own. When I talk about the back padding area, I'll provide a little bit more context, but the straps themselves are incredibly comfortable. TLDR is that they're using this like thick, it feels really premium, but it just has a lot of structure and rigidity, the foam padding. It kind of feels like a slightly firmer version of what people like rock under a keyboard or a mouse, just for whatever it is, arthritis or whatever reason you guys use it. My brother-in-law rocks it and I make fun of him for it, but I secretly should probably get one of those. And it's just a different experience, right? With the Aer, it just feels like it's hugging your back a little bit more gracefully. And so if you're like, I am completely 50-50 and it ends up being like the comfort that you value the most, that's one reason to go with the CityPack Pro 2. But I think this bag does enough things that differentiate it from this one that I wouldn't let comfort deter you entirely from getting it. Secondly, I mean, Aer's just been around longer. They're a bigger company, and so they have the economies of scale and the demand to merit having a lot of options. So you have Ballistic Nylon in black, olive, and navy, and then beyond that, you have XPAC, you have Ultra, and now you have EcoPack in the 24 liter version, in addition to their Ballistic Nylon, where you're limited to just right now 840D Ballistic Nylon or their like carbonate version, which is like a TPU or PU coated shell, which is pretty awesome. I'll talk later on about my recommendations because I did review the other fabric when I did the original one of this one. They did do a limited edition XPAC version in green with like a tan liner that was freaking beautiful, but I think they limited it to 100 units and they sold out pretty quickly. So hopefully they can introduce more colors and more, you know, limited edition runs with different fabric variants as they continue to grow. One thing that I wish the 20 liter version of this one had is the top quick access pocket on the Aer CPP2 Pro 2. It's just a quick zip, right? And this is, for me, like the ideal place for sunglasses or AirPods, the things that I need quick and easy access to. Now, you get this awesome Tech Caddy admin panel where you can essentially have all of those things, but having to do this, I know I'm ridiculous, but like having to do that to grab something versus just a quick horizontal zip is not the same. But yeah, the 24 liter version of this one gets it. And if you want a 20 liter, just keep in mind you don't have that, but maybe in future runs with different fabrics, they do offer it. And then just lastly, what makes things even more complicated, but this is not a surprise, is just Aer. One of the reasons they built such a strong reputation is because of their cost to value. And so if you're comparing the 24 liter Ballistic Nylon versions, the Aer costs $209 and the Sympl costs $259. Now with Sympl, at time of recording, if you opt into their email program, you'll get 10% off. So that should knock off like 25 bucks. So really, instead of it being 50 bucks, whereas Aer like really rarely goes on discount, only on Black Friday or if they're phasing out a new model, you're paying about 25 bucks more than that. But I'm the kind of person that I'm not gonna, once I'm spending $200 on a bag, I'm not gonna choose one over the other over $25. I'm gonna spend 25 extra if it is the right fit for me. That might not be the case for you. So yeah, when I give my final thoughts, I'll just kind of share like my overall perspective on whether or not you should go for this one or this one based on all the things I talked about. But really, I'm not gonna do like a whole separate section on the pros, because really all of the areas where this bag wins, I consider to be the biggest strengths of this bag, which to summarize really are this amazing like tech caddy, the amount of overall organization that this bag offers, having the hybrid access layout with this front stash pocket that is a lot more functional than the front stash pocket on the Aer, and how smooth all of the zippers are, but especially the main compartment zipper on this guy. Now, this bag has made so many drastic, tasteful improvements. Now with this most recent version, you also get the key leash is moved here to the front stash pocket. They added a little pen sleeve in the admin panel and a variety of other things like adding a D-ring. I'd say the things that for me, it would really elevate this bag to even the next level, to being that close to perfect, at least as a tool, are the execution of the external water bottle design. Secondly is having a single zipper in this front admin panel as well as in the laptop compartment. And then just lastly, the back panel, I think the bag is very comfortable, but I'll explain like where I could see there being value add and potentially adjusting that. But starting off with the external water bottle holder, I think it's fantastic that you now have an external one and an internal one that you can use for different things, right? Before with version 1, they didn't have this and it was a little bit cumbersome to get in and out of that water bottle holder. So all in all, incredibly happy with it. Just hear my thoughts. So now you have a zipper, right? Which the nice thing about it is for people that aren't using it, or for whenever you're not using it, it just stays like really flush with the bag. That's really nice. I think my main sentiments around this root from the fact that they're using this stretch mesh here that just doesn't feel super confidence inspiring in terms of like carrying the weight of a water bottle. And while it's stitched onto this fabric here and it's not fully taking on the weight, I think like 32 ounce hydro flask, typically when I travel, I'll take an Awala. One clever thing that they did is that you can see that the actual water bottle holder stands right above the ground, so it's not making direct contact, but that's assuming that you're on a completely flat surface. The other day I had this bag, I was at the park with my kids and I had a water bottle in it. I placed it on the ground and we were in one of those mulch playgrounds, and because the ground was uneven, like the mulch, like the bark chips were touching this, and just based off of the overall thickness or lack thereof of this mesh fabric, it stressed me out a little bit. And in terms of longevity, I would just want something a little bit more heavy duty for my peace of mind. And then the other thing is just that when you're not using it, you just have to like zip it and unzip it every time. And I found that whether it's like the excess fabric sticking out and just getting in the way, but this is the one like place where the zipper experience is not consistent. I found that there's like a friction point here where it kind of gets in the way, and it's just like one additional point of failure. So while I appreciate that they're doing something different that I think a lot of people will appreciate, it's one of those things where for me, keeping it more simple long term, I think would provide me with more peace of mind. The second thing is the single zipper here in the admin panel. Now there's a lot of bags that have a single zipper. The majority do with an admin panel, and this is like Wolf getting like full on crazy. But for example, the Pioneer Carry Panda Pack only has a single one. Freaking love that bag. The Aer CPP2 Pro only has a single one, but it's a psychological thing, but it's just the overall length, right, of the zip where I feel like this is still not long enough that it merits having two. I think a lot of people will still appreciate having a second one, but with this one, you could see that on each side, you get this much more, so you're zipping like that much more. And yeah, especially with a 20-liter version, considering the fact that you don't really have a small quick access pocket for essentials, it's mainly just this front stash pocket. I think having two where you don't have to open it all the way, where yes, this pocket shines when it fully open, right? Because it's gusseted, it expands, you have like this bird's eye view of everything that's in there. But given the choice, I would prefer having two zippers. And then in the laptop compartment as well, it is a little bit longer. I said the same thing about the Pioneer Carry Duration Pack. If the zipper was like this long, then I think you don't need it. you don't need it really. It's not a big deal, especially if like you're not getting into this compartment often. But just one place where I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a second zipper. And then the last thing is around the back panel. And like I said, this bag is still more comfortable than the vast majority of the bags that I own. Let me put this guy away. I think really more than anything is just this whole entire area, while it's giving the bag insane like structure, it's probably contributing to how good this bag stands. Both of these bags stand really well on their own. I find that the Sympl Commuter, it doesn't matter how you pack it pretty much. Like it could be like really front heavy and it still stands better than the CityPack Pro 2, which is an insane self-stander. I don't know how it would impact that, but I think just maybe using a lighter weight material to just give you a different kind of comfort where it doesn't feel so much like a rigid plank, which again, once you have stuff in here, it feels comfortable. I think I say it more than anything because this bag is 3.1 pounds and it's a 20-liter bag. It actually like feels like it definitely fits more than the Aer, like the 20-liter version. But psychologically, a bag of this size, once it's over the 3-pound mark, I feel like it's a little bit heavy, especially when you have so many bags that are insanely over constructed that still fall within like the 2.6 to 2.8 pound range. So when I look at this bag and think about where could there be compromises made to get the weight down, that would probably be the main place, but it would require a pretty significant design overhaul. So anyways, it's not the end of the world by any means. All right, let me pack this guy out like fully teched out. I think this is what this bag thrives in. And also I'm not gonna be rocking a tech pouch. So front pocket here, left my keys upstairs. So we're gonna go keyless, but AirPod Maxes. Moving on to the good old Tech Caddy, mobile battery bank, AirPods, retractable, USB-C. Now, originally there's a magnet here, right? So originally I was like throwing my headphones in like that, but I actually found that with the magnet, it creates essentially two separate sleeves. So it's just like, I just put my sunglasses there. I know some people might be freaking out about them getting crushed. I feel like they're totally fine. This is really well protected. And on the other side, good spot for a wallet, by the way. Epica makes this like AirTag card. It's completely compatible with Find My iPhone, incredibly easy to set up, but different form factor in that it fits in a wallet, which I think is really cool. Or you can stick it in other parts of your bag. But the other nice thing about it is I feel like I'm constantly changing the battery on my AirTag, or so it feels. I mean, the batteries are supposed to last 1 year. I feel like it's like every 6 months I have to swap it out. This card, it's like 20, I'll put the price on there, but the battery's supposed to last 7 to 8 years. Here, this is like a good spot for just smaller things or things that you don't want to create clutter. Good spot for passports. They added a pen sleeve here. The one thing to keep in mind is like, I don't put bulkier things here because once you do, then it starts like making it harder to close. So good for passports, but I'll just leave it like that. That's plenty of stuff. Main compartment. So here, iPad. This is a Nano Air. Throw a flashlight here. You have a sleeve for an AirTag. And then this is a Logitech MX, like bulky mouse. Perfect little spot for it there. There's another spot. Let me actually throw a jacket in there as well. Like, I mean, 20 liters is great. You get so much space. And then laptop compartment. You can throw a mouse in here. I think if you have like an Apple, like Magic Mouse, something slimmer, it works. The problem is when you throw something bulkier, just throwing like a charging brick there. The magnetic flap doesn't close. And then, I mean, with all this stuff, it just creates a little bit of strain here on the zipper, and the laptop compartment doesn't close as well. But for this, little compartment, this is awesome for umbrella, things like that. I'm just gonna throw like my Anker laptop battery bank in there. telling you, we're going fully teched out. This is the 20 liter. Okay, so final thoughts. I think you're trying to decide between the two. Like I said, when you opt into their email program, you get that 10% discount. You're gonna end up spending around $25 more than this one. At time of filming, I don't know the definitive price of the 20 liter version, but I'm assuming it's gonna be kind of like proportionate to their 24 liter pricing. I think where the decision should be like fairly easy is if you are not a tech pouch person and you love organization, like you're looking to maximize every little corner of space in here and you want to have a dedicated pocket for all of your things, this bag is definitely going to spark that joy in a way that this bag is not going to, despite the fact that you still get solid organization. I think beyond that, if you like the idea of having a bag that's going to offer a hybrid access style where you're going to get fantastic top-down organization, but you're also going to get fantastic side access organization, then this bag does it like maybe better than any bag that I can possibly think of. I think especially if you value having a front stash access pocket where you can put bulkier things, whether it's layers, over-the-ear headphones, whatever, and be able to put those things in easily and take them out easily, especially like something like a camera. Being able to put it like a fairly bulky camera in the front stash pocket is invaluable to me. And then the other thing is just that frictionless access into the bag. I've talked about it in other videos, but one of the reasons for why I constantly opt for the CPP2 over the Pro, despite the obvious size difference, is because that main compartment zipper is so freaking smooth. And this one is definitely like a stiffer, more frictionful experience. Whereas this zipper, I mean, I should like do like a pre-recording of this and just play it for myself to go to sleep at night or whenever I'm like feeling stressed and anxious with work or something along those lines. This zipper is so freaking good. And by the way, the carbonate version that I reviewed, I thought would have an even smoother zipper because the fabric feels a little bit stiffer. They're both insane. It's both, don't choose one over the other for that reason. I think really where it makes more sense going into the Aer is if you value comfort, you want the most comfortable bag, especially if you're like commuting, walking long distances every day, then I'd rock the Aer. I think aesthetically, the Aer edges it for me a little bit. It just feels like it could blend into a professional setting a little bit more, where this one has a little bit of a like adventurous, tactical essence to it. There might be fabric options or color options that you're appealed to that you're not going to be able to get in the Commuter. Another reason to go with the Aer. But yeah, I'm curious like what your thoughts are. I've been procrastinating this video just because like if you were to ask me point blank, hey, you could only keep one or the other, it's really, really, really hard to answer that question because there are times where I'm in a state of mind where like I am in organization freak mode where this bag just gets me in the right spots, right? But then there's times where I'm just feeling a little bit more minimal. I appreciate just the construction on the Aer. They're both top notch, but I feel like everything just feels a little bit more refined. The overall design language is a little bit more cohesive on the Aer, but we're kind of splitting hairs with that. I don't freaking know, man. I really don't know. Luckily, I don't have to get rid of either of them, but if you're an organization freak, go with this guy. If you're pretty minimal with what you carry, you value something that's more lightweight and comfortable, go with this one. Best of luck and cheers.